I mean, I think the simplest thing is that after everyone speaks, we say, we're here for you.
And at first I was like, I don't know what that even is. And I came, and it's such an important part of my day now.
I never really tried the Frenchwood soup before Soup Troupe. It really opened my eyes to a whole new part of the Frenchwood's dining hall.
Soup Troupe is really inclusive, and Soup Troupe is a place where everybody can just come and talk about soup when it's good, and also complain about soup when it's bad, because we all deserve a good bowl of soup in our lives.
Well, I never thought that I could ever meet a group of people so welcoming and kind and loving.
I never have soup other than Frenchwoods.
We know the kitchen staff just works so hard making these delicious soups for us every day. And just Soup Troupe is just the way we want to thank them and show that they're truly appreciated.
Being able to talk amongst my peers here at Frenchwoods about the daily soups has really enhanced my daily life.
Soup Troupe has really brought me and Ray close together. Yes. I don't think we would have been this close if it hadn't been for the soup that we get every day.
It's really helpful.
We're here for you.
I felt like I was the only one who could express my love for soup in such a dynamic way.
Thank you, Soup Troupe.
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 Thank
you, Soup Troupe.
Thank you, Soup Troupe.
Thank you, Frenchwoods.
Hey Soup Troupe, it's Cole. One of your founders. I wanted to thank Soup Troupe for being such an inclusive space. I love you all. Keep enjoying soup and send me a mushroom and brie.
Hello and welcome to Soup Troupe Online. My name is Danny.
And I'm Danny, and welcome to Soup Troupe Online.
We are so excited to be doing this live stream for you all today. I know personally I have missed Soup Troupe this past summer, and I'm so happy to be doing it on the Zoomiverse. So Soup Troupe was started by my work husband and I, co-write Shaner, in 2016. We just thought that soup was really one of the only good things left, and it deserved to be talked about. Chef Ryan Tutton at Frenchwoods Festival made a great learning environment for all of us here at Frenchwoods.
So we are so lucky to have a bunch of incredible special guests here on our first ever Soup Troupe Online. So thank you all so much for joining today. And I have the pleasure to introduce Frenchwoods' own Ben Caplan, who is not only an incredible music director at Frenchwoods, but he is also the writer of I Don't Want to Talk About It at 54 Below. And not only that, but he is also an incredible college audition coach. So please make sure to contact Ben if you need any audition coaching or anything for college auditions or auditions in general. Make sure to talk to him about that. And now I am so glad to invite Ben Caplan.
Hello.
Oh, hi. Oh, hi there. You just caught me in the middle of reading one of my favorite books in my incredible library, New England Soup Factory Cookbook.
Wow.
Noted as having more than 100 recipes from the nation's best purveyors of fine soup.
Wow.
A good plug for this wonderful, wonderful book on this wonderful, wonderful show. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Ben, we're so glad to have you here.
We're very excited. So Ben, our first question to you of the day is, what is your favorite soup memory?
Ooh, challenging, complicated. I would say growing up as a young Jewish boy in the suburbs of Baltimore, Maryland, but with familial roots from Brooklyn, New York, I feel like my Bubby's chicken noodle matzo ball soup is the perfect memory. It's a classic. There's truly something special to be said about something so hearty and yet so simple.
Of course.
Of course. That was a beautiful memory. I felt like I was right there with you.
Thank you. Excuse me as I take a drink of water, or as I like to call it, pre-broth.
Beautiful.
I own and love that cookbook, Ben Caplan.
It's a phenomenal cookbook. Matt Stern knows where it's at when it comes to
Yes.
good soup cookbooks.
Yeah. Okay, so another question we'd like to ask you is, if you could pick any soup to describe your original I don't want to talk about it, what soup would you assign to that show?
Ooh, so I Don't Want to Talk About It is a musical that I am writing and have been developing alongside different venues such as Feinstein 64 Below and currently the New York Theater Barn. And it's a very complex musical about the world of mental health. So I like to see a complex soup. I like a complex soup with different notes of flavor. So I actually turned to our wonderful New England Soup Factory cookbook, now available at bookstores near you and certainly available on Amazon. And I was just actually looking at a quite complex soup: potato, crab, and gorgonzola.
Ooh.
My goodness.
Ooh.
You see, seafood does not normally play well with cheese. And yet, we have a soup that has crab, delicious, salty, buttery crab, with gorgonzola, a very funky, complex cheese with a base of potato. And that's what I think I Don't Want to Talk About It is like. It's got a lot of funk. It's got a lot of salt. It's got a little bit of heat in there from some Tabasco. But it's very core at its base.
Yes.
There's a lot of stability and foundation there to help you.
A lot of beautiful flavors I'm hearing. That sounds delicious. I would love to try that soup.
It's a delicious soup. You can find it. Do you know where? In the New England Soup Factory cookbook that I currently have in front of me. I'm sure it's available on Kindle.
Beautiful. An additional question to go along with that is, as now we are all entering into the audition season with college auditions, and I know that a lot of that is going to be online this year, which is definitely very difficult for the incoming classes. And I was wondering, if someone is, say, nervous or not feeling well before an audition, what soup would you recommend to your students?
Ooh, that is very, very good. I would say that the simpler and clearer the soup, the better. We want a clear broth before a very important audition, like a college audition. I always like a good lemongrass, something in that realm, something that's a little acidic, clears the pipes, a little bit of heat, gets those sinuses nice and clear, but also something that's going to warm you. It's not going to sit in you. It's going to just sort of engulf your body in just this lovely, soupy goodness, broth for days, if you will.
Absolutely. So a very thin viscosity soup is what we're looking
We want a very thin viscosity. Anything that's a little cream-based or potato-based, that's for a night at home. That's for a celebration. That's for a night out, which we're not having a lot of recently. But for these auditions, you're going to want something that's going to help you.
Absolutely.
For sure.
All right, so now is time for our Q&A section for Ben Kaplan.
Ooh.
Leave your comments down in below, and we will see what we can answer for you. While we're waiting for those comments, do know that Ben is an amazing audition coach, and you can reach him here at nycauditioncoach@gmail.com.
Yes, I am now working through Zoom, and I do offer bulk packages. Just like there are some companies that offer bulk packages of soup for discounted prices. The more soup, more bang for your buck, or rather more broth for your buck.
Ah, yes.
But I am also offering bulk packages in coaching for as young as 7 and as old as college or high school. I have been lucky enough to have a lot of my students get into schools such as NYU, Boston Conservatory, Emerson, Ithaca, Rutgers, Marymount Manhattan, and so on. And my passion for soup is only matched by my passion to educate the youth of America on repertoire, vocal technique, and vocal performance.
Absolutely. All right. We have a question from Matt Gershon who says, what kind of soup gets your hair to look like that, Ben?
Oh, that is 100% Jewish blood, and nothing says Jewish blood like chicken matzo ball soup. And I know people are saying, is it chicken noodle soup? Is it chicken soup? Is it chicken matzo ball soup? Is it matzo ball soup? There are combinations to be had, and for me, it is always chicken matzo ball soup. you can have the chicken in there. Have your chicken and eat your matzo ball too. And that's what I would say gets my hair this curly, which no one ever really gets to see, but with no haircuts, it's going to stay this long for a while.
Perfect. Matt Stern has a two-part question. He says, Ben, what is your favorite soup to eat before piano conducting a musical in life at Frenchwoods?
Ooh. Well, at Frenchwoods, this may be an interesting hot take, but I am quite a fan of the split pea before a show. Because the Frenchwood split pea, not as heavy as a lot of split peas that I've had previously, so it's not going to sink and bind together while I'm trying to conduct or music direct a musical. I want that split pea. I need that split pea to keep me nice and ready to go and focused. Whereas in life, I am a French onion soup man. I love a good French onion soup. I think there is no better blend of cheese, bread, and broth that you could ever have. And at Frenchwoods, I would have to say mushroom bisque. Mushroom brie. I know it's a classic. I know it's people are gonna say, "Oh, you're not going for the outside picks. You're not thinking outside the box. There's no dark horses." Sometimes the soup speaks for itself.
It was a beautiful, beautiful statement, Ben.
Thank you.
Part 2 of Matt Stern's question is, question 2. If you could take a bath in a massive bowl of soup, what soup would that be?
Ooh. Well, I guess we have to consider, is this bath for eating and luxuriating, or is this bath for cleaning? Because those are two very different worlds. If I'm just luxuriating, a New England clam chowder, a gumbo, something with a lot of lovely shrimp and vegetables in there, not just soup. We're looking for something, there's stuff to have. There's stuff, tangible things you can hold in your hand. But if we're using it to clean, then I think we're going to want something nice and spicy. Get anything germy off of you. So I think a nice gazpacho, a nice cold gazpacho to mix with the heat that's going to kill those germs.
Absolutely. All right, our last question for Ben, but there's going to be plenty more opportunities to leave a question for our next guest, is from Lily Metten. She says, if you could only eat one soup for the rest of your life, what soup would you choose?
Oh, I love a bisque. I am a fan of a bisque. For me, a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, if we're thinking bisque, lobster bisque is bisque at its highest aspiration. But I say no. I say crab bisque. With crab bisque, you get a little bit more of that ocean flavor. Crab screams ocean. Lobster screams a little more of the beach in general, but I want an ocean flavor. And I want a crab bisque, a little bit of sherry in there to bring forth that nice, warm, salty flavor. That's what I'm looking for in a bisque to eat every day for the rest of my life. Plus, I'm from Baltimore, the land of crabs.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ben. This was a lovely time. I really appreciate you coming and guest starring on our first ever Soup Troupe Live. So thank you so much.
Danny, thank you for having me. I'm going to go back to reading, again, the New England Soup Factory Cookbook. Again, this is by Marjorie Drucker and Clara Silverstein. Please purchase this book. I'm sure they need the money.
Thank you.
Have a super day. Thank you so much.
Will everyone online from home please join Danny and I in a 1, 2, 3. We're here
for you.
Love you.
I'm here for you.
Bye now. All right, that was Ben Caplan. Again, you can email him about audition coaching at nycauditioncoach@gmail.com. You should also buy a ticket to see I Don't Want to Talk About It in one of the various locations around the city that he's doing it once we can do that safely again. All right, our next guest today is a very special person in my heart. Her name, she was recently Danny on CBS $1. She was of George in The Handmaid's Tale and Haley on Just As Magic, as well as thousands of other things. Look her up. Her name is Keerley Berger. I am so excited. Please welcome Kirrilee.
Oh, hi!
Welcome, Keerley. We are so delighted to have you here today.
I've truly and honestly never been more honored in my life. I whipped out the vintage camp gear circa 2015 for today's very special occasion.
Thank you so much. If you guys like Keerley, you can follow her down below at Kirrilee Berger on Instagram. All right, Keerley, we have some very important questions for you. Danny, to you.
Our first question is obviously a classic Soup Troop question. What is your favorite Soup memory?
You know, it's a beautiful question because I was actually telling Danny yesterday that one of my earliest memories in life is of Soup. And I was at my house in Australia. I am Australian, if I haven't mentioned that 90 million times. But I remember my Nana wearing a pink apron, and she was making a chicken soup, as she often did. And it was not quite enough salt and a little too much pepper, but there was something nostalgic about it. That's my my earliest and one of my most fond soup memories.
Perfect. That was beautiful. Keerley, we know that you are dairy-free, so we wanted to talk to you a bit about inclusivity of soups and which soups you are able to share with the lactose community.
Sure. I'm going to take the liberty to expand on this as well, not only being dairy-free, but being vegan. There's an epidemic of people using chicken broth in vegetable soups. And to each his own, I understand it's got a lot of flavor, but we need to be seen too. You know what I mean? If I'm having a veg minestrone, why can't we just include everyone and use a vegetable stock? If I want a nice tomato soup, why is there cream in there? You know what I mean?
Of course.
Look, there's a time and a place for a creamy tomato soup. But, you know, us dairy-free folk, us animal-free folk, must be seen and heard too in the soup community. I think this is a really important question, and I really appreciate you asking it.
Of course.
That was beautiful. I totally agree. Soup inclusivity is something that we struggle with, not only at French Woods, but in life.
Definitely.
And the more people that can enjoy and partake in a soup, the better it is.
Yes, expand your audience, you know, expand the demographic, right.
So another question that we are inquiring on is, Danny had told me about something called velvet soups.
Yes.
I am not sure what this is. Danny and I are both a little unsure of what it is. And I'd love for you to expand on what that is and what that means to you.
One of my favorite topics. Thank you so much for asking this question. Unfortunately, being in the United States, we live in a country where I feel like soup is not widely accepted as a meal. You know what I mean? It's like it's an appetizer, but you know, soup is not only an appetizer or a side or a snack. Soup can be a meal. Soup is a meal on its own. And my homeland of Australia has created this lovely thing called a velvet soup. It's called this because the texture is velvety. It's typically made with like a starchy veg or a squash. One of my favorite velvet soups is a pumpkin soup. This is gonna sound a little gross, but I have no other way to describe it. Think of soup. So if you think of like a smoothie, right? A smoothie that's drinkable, it's really thin. You can drink it. It's thin, you know, all fun and games. However, you get down into the gig of a smoothie bowl, it's thick. It's thick. There's pull on that spoon when you're taking a bite. That's what a velvet soup is. There's not quite as much broth. It's not runny. You know, if you were to pick up the bowl and tip it, it wouldn't just spill everywhere. You know what I mean? It holds up. It's a strong soup. It's a soup that doesn't need a man. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a velvet soup. It is comforting. It is, I couldn't recommend it enough. Yeah.
Perfect.
That sounds delicious.
That sounds wonderful. I texted Danny right after you told me about that. I said, how do we know this much about soup and not know what a velvet soup is?
Other countries, I'm telling you, the soup game outside of the United States, it's another world of soups.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so grateful that I have been able to learn and appreciate multiple cultures of soup.
Right. Thank you. All right, we do have one more segment before we get to the Q&A. This is a segment we here at Soup Troop called Speed Round.
Oh gosh.
We're gonna name a character that you played, and you need to, off the top of your head, tell us what soup it reminds you of. Keza in Malibu Rescue, the next wave.
Miso.
Okay.
George in The Handmaid's Tale.
Broth. Straight broth. just a lukewarm broth.
Good. Danny in CBS $1.
Matzo ball soup, because we never said that she was Jewish, but there's something vaguely Jewish about her.
Queen Elizabeth in The Who Was show.
Oh, it's got to be something lobster bisque. It's rich, regal. Mm.
Haley in Just Add Magic.
Like a Thai spicy tom kha.
Mm.
There's a little spice to her. There's a little edge. You know what I mean?
Amy in Casey Undercover.
Oh, wow. Okay. I make this, and I think she would be my cauliflower curry velvet soup. It's complex. There's layers to it.
Much like the soup for I Don't Want to Talk About It. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, very similarly.
Okay. Poppy in Butterbean Cafe.
Oh, it has to be something with paprika, because that's her catchphrase. It's all paprika. So maybe if we did like a potato type soup that had like some paprika on it, I think that would be Poppy.
Stephanie in I'll Be Next Door for Christmas.
Oh no, she has to be matzo ball soup, because she was Stephanie the Jewish elf.
Oh.
Who did I say was matzo ball soup? Danny? I need to switch her out then. You know what? I don't know if this counts, but I'm gonna say that Danny's ramen. You know what I mean?
Ooh, yes.
She's ramen. She's like a $20 bowl of ramen. Yeah, that's Danny Feldman. Definitely is matzo ball soup.
Well, congratulations, you've completed Speed Round.
Yay!
Okay, we have a series of questions for you for the Q&A. If you have a pressing question, please let us know in the comments below. Matt Stern says, Kirrilee, what kind of soup would you choose to star in a Netflix series? As if you didn't know, Malibu Rescue, The Next Wave, was for a brief time #1 on Netflix in the United States.
It really was. I was so surprised. Matt Stern, this is a great question. I think, I think pumpkin soup deserves its moment to shine. I think it doesn't get enough recognition. It is not just a fall soup. You know what I mean? It's not just a seasonal thing. So I would love to have pumpkin soup have its moment to shine in the Netflix original series or film.
I love pumpkin soup. It's one of my favorites as well.
I'm so glad you say that. I would love to make you a velvet pumpkin soup.
I would love that. With a nice crouton or like a crunch on top.
Absolutely. I hear that fully. Or even like a crunchy chickpea.
Oh, yes. That sounds delicious.
I mean, come on. Yeah, great question, Matt Stern. Thank you.
There's a big rumor in the industry that Keerley Berger gifts soups. So I think if this is true, I would love that soup to be my gifted soup.
I would love to gift you that soup. That is, I will debunk that rumor. It is true. I do love to give the gift of soup.
Perfect. Nedway says, Kirrilee, what is the best way to get involved in the soup world? Is there a Soup for Dummies book, or do you have any soup recommendations for a measly beginner?
Oh, this is a great question. I think when we're diving into the world of soup, we often, we get overwhelmed, right? You go down the aisle, the soup aisle, there's so much there. Or you think to yourself, making soup from home, it has to be so complicated. It doesn't, And I think it's important to just branch out. What are flavors I like? Creamy, spicy, sweet even, So we can start with the flavor profile and go from there. And when it comes to making soup from home, look at what you have in your fridge, right? Is there a combination of veg? Take a look at the frozen veg in your freezer. Is there some leftover chicken? throw it in a pot, add some seasonings, and make yourself the soup that you deserve. You can do it.
That was beautiful.
For you, you know?
Thank you. Marina Levowich says, as a dairy-free person, what is your opinion on using coconut milk as a non-dairy soup thickener / creamer?
Oh, Marina, this is a fantastic question. I really do feel that there is a time and a place for coconut cream in soup. One of my favorite combinations is actually Progresso tomato and basil soup. I just got the most Australian, I'm so sorry. With coconut cream added to it. Let me change your life. It is a cheap snack. It is amazing. However, it's not my thickener of choice for a dairy-free soup. Might I suggest cashew cream? Take like a quarter cup of cashews, boil it on the stove 15, 20 minutes, pop it in a NutriBullet with a little bit of almond milk, and add that to any soup. I like to use that to make my cream of mushroom. Saute some mushrooms, a little onion, little garlic, even a little ginger. Some thyme is also wonderful in that. Rosemary. Get some herbs in there. Pop it in with the cashew cream, little bit of broth, blend it up. Vegan cream of mushroom soup, 15 minutes. Bang.
Gorgeous.
Good question.
All right, we only have time for 2 more questions. So first, we're going to start with a two-parter.
Okay.
Matt Gershon. Matt Gershon says, part 1. What soup do you present during the interesting soup portion of pageants?
Oh my goodness, thank you so much for representing my pageant days in this. Wow. You know, it really depends on the system, right? I think if we're going USA system, because I am very fortunate, I have competed in both USA and Miss America, but I didn't go to Miss America, I didn't make it that far, but I stayed on the local level. But I think in USA, we can go a little crazier. We can go a little spicier. I think if I was at Miss California USA, I'd perhaps do a vegan gumbo. I think that would be really fun. But I think Miss America, classic. You know, I love to make a really good vegan chicken soup. I think that is what I would present at the Miss California America pageant. Thank you so much for that question.
Of course, and then part 2 of his question, of course, is part 2. What is the soup to celebrate a pageant win?
Oh, great question. I actually had soup after I won Miss Ocean County's Outstanding Teen 2016. It was before I was vegan, and I had a clam chowder.
Good to know.
Yeah.
All right. As you know, we have 1 question left, but of course, as I said, there's only time for a certain amount of questions. We got like a slew of them. This is going to be a hard.
Fire it.
I know. Yeah. All right. We're going to do the one from John Vigiano. He said, "What's a soup that hypes you up for a performance or to film?"
Great question. I make a taco soup, and that's definitely gets me nice and feisty for a performance. Yeah.
Perfect. Ellie Perlman says, "Opinion on the beloved soup Red Bull?"
I am severely allergic to gluten, so if it is gluten-free, I'm going to go with absolutely. For those that were not blessed with a less than perfect immune system, go for it. You deserve that 1,200 calorie bread bowl because you've worked hard for it, and I'm here for you.
Yeah. And our last question, rapid fire, is Lily Metten. In your opinion, what is the most underrated soup?
French onion. Easy. French onion.
If you go to our Instagram at souptroupe.fws, follow us below, there is a whole story full of just French onion soup.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I love making a vegan and gluten-free French onion soup. I really, really do. And it can be done, you guys. Just because your immune system says no, you can still say yes.
Oh, wow, that was beautiful, Keerley. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was a delight. Thank you for being such an incredible guest on our first Soup Troupe Online. It was an honor to have you, and we hope that you have a super day.
I hope you guys have a super day. And might I just be the one to say, I'm here for you.
Keerley and everyone at home, we also, 1, 2, 3, we're
here for you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us, Keerley.
I love you guys so much. Thank you.
Absolutely. As a reminder, remember to follow Keerley Berger on Instagram at Kirrilee Berger. And to see all of the amazing things she's doing on Netflix, I watch all of them, just so you know.
They're so fun. She has such an amazing talent. Please go watch all of her stuff.
All right. we are nearing the end of our Soup Troupe live stream. Please do not forget to follow us on Instagram at souptroupe.fwf. That stands for French Woods Festival, which is the performing arts camp upstate New York that gives kids an opportunity to pursue the arts, for a full summer, as well as millions of other things such as horseback riding, cooking, sports, anything you can.
Magic. The world is limitless.
Absolutely. And additionally, you could follow us on our new Facebook page, which was launched today at Soup Troupe Online. We are going to be back for another goodbye, but before that, we have our farewell video. This was from our live performance at French Woods Festival Troupe Night. And Ben Caplan, who is our guest today, was also in this performance. So without further ado, here is that.
Soup Troupe. S for the sweet, sweet soup we eat at lunch all day, all week. O for always meet us after lunch in the canteen. Q for Kirrilee to come together through any food. Please welcome members from every troupe on every campus right now. S for the sweet, sweet soup we eat at lunch all day, all week. O for always meet us after lunch in the canteen.
That video always brings such a big smile to my face.
Mine as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media. We are trying to
so many updates, so make sure you follow us.
Yay. Thank you so much. Again, I'm Danny.
And I'm Danny.
And this has been
Soup Troupe Online. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Have a super
day.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.